Hello, and welcome back for another speed build video. Today, I'm excited to get into the speed build because it is Animal Crossing themed, and Animal Crossing has had this big update that took place like a couple of months ago now, I think it was, and it's just been something that's been on everyone's feed lately. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do a build that is inspired by a villager from Animal Crossing, and I chose to do Chai. So I would say that Chai is one of my favorite villagers. Have I ever played Animal Crossing? Absolutely not. I haven't. I don't have a Switch. I would love to get a Switch to play Animal Crossing, but you best believe that Chai would be the villager that I would want to probably find first. And a lot of that just stemmed from, first of all, I love elephants. So the fact that Chai is like an elephant in the game, I would probably want my first island to just have all of the elephants. And I know like people who have probably played Animal Crossing are like, why would you do that? X character does this, you maybe don't want this character. Like, I don't know anything really about the game. I've watched streamers play it, but that's about it. So I was just going off of the vibes of Chai. You know, Chai has a mug on their head. So, you know, it was like just the idea of tea and coffee themed. If you know me, I love tea and coffee. Over on Twitch, our community is called the Brew Crew. So there's a lot of tie-ins as to why I love Chai, because it's my favorite animal, as well as just having a tea mug on their head. Obviously from the colors you can see Chai is blue, pink, and yellow. Yellow being more like an accent color, but blue being like a primary color, and then a little bit of pink from the little, you know, mug on the head. I don't think I really need to explain too much with why the color scheme is what it is. I wanted this build to have some whimsy touches to it, and that was just like going in line with the character and how I see Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing is like a very cozy type of game to me. So I wanted the build to emulate this like cozy feeling, and I wanted it to be fun, whimsy, quirky a little bit. And we actually have quite a few objects that are pink, blue, and yellow, and like this like kind of cyan blue. And I would say Enchanted by Nature came in handy a pretty good bit with some of that stuff. I went back and forth on like what parts of the house I wanted to have pink, which parts I wanted to have blue, yellow, and I just tried to keep it in sync with the character. Like I said, Chai's mostly blue, so I wanted blue to be like the predominant color everywhere, with yellow being an accent and pink being like on the roof. So you can see that Chai is tea. I don't know why I want to keep saying tea kettle. I have to like catch myself. It's not a kettle, it's a mug. But the mug on Chai's head is pink. So I was like, what if the roof, because it's the top of the house, what if that's pink? I was trying to think of ways to tie in, like quite literally, what is the character, but also like what this character would probably be like on the inside, and like what they would like to do in their spare time. So I went with these like Strangerville columns that were pink. I had the yellow railings. I don't know. I honestly can't remember. I think this is what I settled on for the most part. So I did yellow for the railings and the windows, and then I had pink columns, and then the house is blue. And I went back and forth a pretty good bit with the shape of the house, as you could see at the start. I wanted some type of curvature, and the reason why, it sounds a little bit silly, but because of the elephant trunk having like a curved nature to it, I was like, I want something rounded on the house. So I tried to like emulate that, not necessarily a trunk, but just having something that was curvy on the house itself. And then the thing that was tricky with this house was that it was so small. Whenever if you have medium wall height or higher, and it's a small shell, putting a staircase inside can be a little bit tricky, because as you have the walls that are higher up, your staircase gets longer and bigger because it takes more stairs to get to the top. So I had a double whammy there. I extended the house just a little bit to make it more feasible. At first I was like, let's go with country kitchen, because we had the yellow cabinets, but it just wasn't feeling right. It was a little rustic, and I had this tile on the floor that I really thought was pretty, and it's more modern. So I was like, maybe rustic cabinets aren't the way to go. So I went with Home Chef Hustle. We have this really nice blue tone, and then I used like the yellow appliances as an accent color to pop off of that a little bit more. Now we do have this little bit of curved part in the kitchen, so I alt placed the upper cabinets, and it worked just fine. I clipped it in just a little bit, but not a big deal. I went back and forth on like the height of them and figuring out how I wanted to lay everything out exactly. But it wraps around this corner to the back door, and that's where I end up putting like the tea coffee area, and we have a dedicated tea area inside. So this is where a lot of it shines through, because we have a little tea space on the first floor. Outside on the second floor balcony is also another tea area, which is where I put some of the Tea Time Solarium kit, because it had just come out shortly after I started this build, which was perfect timing. I started the build before it was even announced, so I got very lucky with that. And then I also built a tea room separate from the house as well. So we have plenty of tea spaces to go if you have people over for tea. I like the idea that you go outside. We called it the she shed. But you go outside, you can have your company not even have to go in your house. You could just meet them outside, take them over there, have a nice little tea time. And then I put the like plant vine wallpaper in here, which I thought was really pretty. Again, not necessarily sure like why. I just thought it was a good vibe for chai. You let me know. I'd love to do this more moving forward. I want to maybe do a series on Animal Crossing characters and building homes for Animal Crossing characters. I think it's cute, it's fun. And then I put like a lot of pastel pop kit in here as well. Just wanting a pop of blue with that chair over in the corner. And it just also comes in the perfect pastel colors with the blues, pinks, yellows. So it was kind of a no-brainer to do that. On the subject of Animal Crossing villagers and building homes after villagers, what would you like to see? Like, I'd love to hear what some of your favorite villagers are, maybe what villager you'd like to see me do next for a build inspired by that. I worked on this on Twitch, and it was a really fun little project. It didn't take long. I think we worked on it for 2 or 3 streams, and that was it. It's a little bit simpler than a lot of the other homes that I do usually on Twitch, especially. I just wanted it to like be simple. I didn't want to do anything over the top. So even the outside, I think I left relatively simple. I pulled this like fun accent table. I thought that was pretty. I was going into the like plant vibes a little bit. We had the vine wallpaper, we have furniture that have florals on it, and it just matched the aesthetic that I was going for with that. I did use the squat toilet. I don't know why. Sometimes I get in the mood to where I like putting the squat toilet in homes, and I don't know. I feel like it works for chai. I feel like I could see chai using that. Elephants, they usually go while standing up, so why not do something like that in the bathroom? I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore at this point. But I wanted to like have the fun blue, pink, yellow in every single room. So even in the bathroom, as small as it is, I think I got a pretty good mix of colors to make it fun, whimsy, and just like a vibrant space. Now, I did go back and forth on the bedroom upstairs. I wasn't quite sure like how modern I wanted to go versus like if I wanted to go more charming in that regard. So I used a good bit of Love Struck in the bedroom upstairs. I think I actually still changed the bed. I don't think this is the bed that I ended up keeping. I'm fairly confident it's not. I actually get rid of the pastel pop stand over here in the corner as well. I don't keep that either. So it took me a while though to figure out the vibes that I wanted in Chai's bedroom. It is just this whole top floor. Obviously with it being a small house, it's not like I could really fit too much if I wanted a big bed and everything. Now this is the bed that I do end up keeping. Again, going back to the fact that blue is supposed to be more predominant than any other color. So I wanted that to be true here as well. So this was perfect because we get the blue comforter, the blue sheets, and it just has like little pops of pink with the pillows. And I ended up putting this like tile on the floor. I wasn't sure about the flooring upstairs, to be honest. I was like very tricky about it. I didn't want carpet, but at the same time, we didn't have tiles that really were working very well for me. So I still am not the biggest fan of this flooring, but I do end up keeping it. And I pulled the heart table because I thought that was a cute little touch as well. So we have a little seating area. You can read books over here. I end up putting a bookcase along this entire back wall with all of the windows. I get it's a lot of windows, but I just thought that was really pretty, especially since they're on the back side of the house and it's a private balcony anyway. So it's like you don't have to worry about people looking in or seeing anything. So I end up putting the computer in the corner there, and then I do have like a little get ready space in the corner. That's the little bump out by the bed on the left side. And then I came across this trunk that was blue with the pink on the inside. I was like, this is perfect. Again, we have so much blue and pink in this game that it's a really nice aesthetic. It goes well together. I think I'm a sucker for pastels, generally speaking. I've been catching myself really enjoying pastels, not just in The Sims, but in other games as well lately. I don't know what it is. I think it's just the soft hues. It's very calming to me. And then I also put the Love Struck ottoman at the foot of the bed, which worked well. And I grabbed the Cozy Kitsch bookcases to put those up against the window in the back. So now that I have like all the furniture laid out, I think we're now getting into the clutter phase. Usually whenever I build, I like to like get all of the big pieces of furniture laid out so I know where everything's going to go, generally speaking. And then I go in and add all the touches and the decor elements like curtains, rugs, if I didn't use rugs for inspiration on the big pieces of furniture, and putting like all the little plants and things in. And I went back and forth on this, But I really liked the idea of having this little pink fireplace in the corner over by the dining area. So I think that's a really cute touch. I've never really used that fireplace ever since we got it. I think in B&H. I can't even remember because I don't use it. I'm pretty sure it was B&H though that came with that. But I like the idea of having a fireplace in the dining area. And since this was already a really weird shaped dining space being on the curved area, I was like, why not use that in a little bump out there? I went back and forth so much on trying to find shelves and display cases. I cut all of that out of the video, but I was just like, a fireplace will do. I think that's cute. I think it makes sense. And then I'm just putting like all the little light fixtures in. I will say, and I got on the subject matter of this in my stream yesterday, I think some of my least favorite things to do whenever I'm going in and like doing decor and the style of everything, I don't like doing light fixtures and I don't like doing curtains. I don't know what it is. When I find a light fixture or a curtain that I really love that works well in the space though, I absolutely love it. But trying to find something that works well is often difficult in this game, and I think it's because light fixtures are really tricky, especially when you have taller wall heights, because oftentimes, like whenever I use medium wall height, all of the medium wall height lights that we get, at least in the lights that come in different sizes, they seem still way too low. So I always have to like take the medium light, size it down one time, which means it's like 75% of its size, and then that's what looks better to me naturally. Maybe in real life it would look weird. I don't know. We've talked about this before, where I think in perspective in The Sims, things might look weird, but they don't in real life, and vice versa. I think some things that we actually do put in our homes in real life look weird in The Sims, like when we build. So, like, one example of this that I've talked about before is like whenever you're building a house in The Sims, we like it to be super symmetrical and like windows have to be placed evenly around the entire house. But if you really look in real life at homes that are built, most of the time, the only part of the house where the windows look pretty is the front. If you look around the other sides of the house, they're in the most random spots. They're not uniform at all. It just is super, super mind boggling to me whenever you think about it, how in the game we think things look so off, but in real life, that's how they actually are, but we don't really notice it as seeming weird. So it's just really interesting to put yourself in that mind and that perspective whenever you're building in The Sims. Like, what am I doing in The Sims that would look absolutely weird in real life, you know? So I don't know. I like to think through things like that sometimes. I did get the elephant kettle. If you're new here, that's one of my favorite objects. I love the elephant kettle. We love Phil, who's a viney plant that we put in like literally every single build. But I was like, that makes sense. We need not just for the tea aspect, but also since Chai is an elephant, it makes plenty of sense to do that. So I'm working on furnishing this little bump out nook area by the back door that is like a tea space. We literally have tea everywhere. Tea and coffee is the name of the game. I felt like Chai was definitely more of a tea, like a chai tea, for instance. Absolutely love chai tea, by the way. I've done chai flavored cinnamon rolls. I don't need to go down this route. But I will say one thing that I'm considering is if we hit 1,000 followers on Twitch, which we're really close, we're close to 900 right now, there is a suggestion to do a baking stream. So if you would like to follow over on Twitch, I have that link down below. I stream right now 3 times a week consistently, and oftentimes I do more than that on my optional times that I have available. So I do have optional times that, like, if time allows, I'll stream, but it's not a guaranteed thing. So it's always kind of like a nice surprise if I'm able to stream. But now we're getting into this balcony space where I used the Tea Time Solarium kit that had just come out, and talk about the perfect swatches. It matched this build to a T. And I put these like little roses on the vine and the trellis on the back porch area on the first floor, which I thought was really cute to fill in the space a little bit. And then I ended up using the Tea Time Solarium columns. I love that we have a kind of more plain column now, especially that it came with the kit, because I will say Tea Time Solarium kit is probably one of my favorites for a lot of reasons. Obviously, the content itself being tea themed is already a win for me. I'm biased, okay? I can admit that. I'm very biased when it comes to that. But it came with beautiful windows and doors. Absolutely beautiful windows and doors. It came with a roof pattern and a column, plus a lot of cute objects. I think the only miss for me was the fact that we had so many tables. I didn't like that we had 3 different tables in the kit, because that seemed a little bit much to me. That's like my main criticism. Some of the swatches I don't see myself using super often either, but I mean, there's always going to be pros and cons. it has a good balance of like building and like stuff that you can buy. So I appreciated it. I put the columns and layered them on top of the Strangerville columns because the Strangerville columns are really, really skinny and these are a little bit thicker. So you get the nice elements from Strangerville columns on the top and bottom where it's like the thick part of the column, but then the central part is just the Tea Time Solarium kit one, and it worked better because I felt like the pink popped out a bit more. So I did layer it that way, and I think it looks stunning. I'll get off my spiel on that, but I do really like that kit. I think it's a solid kit from a build and buy perspective. And then I put some stuff from Royalty and Legacy in here, which wasn't necessarily the plan, but it was actually pretty cutesy with some of the gold accents that I had throughout the house already. And it gives like a nice, like more historical type element to it. And when I think of chai, I think of chai as like having some modern furniture, but like with charming touches, you know? So I felt like having some of this like older looking perfume bottles and jewelry box and stuff just was a cute aesthetic to me, and how it juxtapositioned with the furniture around us. And so like you could see earlier, I put like the little candle opera thing on the table by the front door with the little mirror. I like having a mirror by the front door usually whenever I do like my foyer spaces. Oh, and there's Phil right there. That's our number one resident plant. But I like putting mirrors by the front door for the reason like you check yourself as you're going out the door. You can look at yourself or whatever. But I put that little Royalty and Legacy mirror by the front door too, so you could like maybe peek in and look. I know it's like not necessarily for that purpose, but I wanted to end up putting something there that made it work a little bit better. And I ended up putting a pond out the front. I went back and forth on this too, but I really like the shape of it. I want it to be rounded and like be the contour of the curved part of the house. And I think it works really well with fitting that space. So I put the side yard over on the opposite side. I did have it on this side first, but it just wasn't vibing with how it connected to the curved part of the house, which is why I got rid of it. So I put this like fancy little kitchen space outside. I did use a lot of the like newer kits. You don't necessarily need them, but I did use them. So we have this outdoor kitchen space, which I think turned out pretty cute. I did clutter it up a pretty good bit. We put some cabinets out here so you could actually sit outside and eat as well. And then I ended up putting also a chess table on the back porch. I did go back in and change it. I had put, I think, the high school years chess table, and I ended up replacing it with the Wonderland Playroom kit because it comes in a nice, cute pink swatch. And those chairs also came with a matching pink swatch. So I actually used a little bit of the Wonderland Playroom kit, but that's the only thing I put in here that uses that. You do not need to have that kit. And honestly, I said in my review video, I'll say it again, those two kits that drop together, I am not the biggest fan of. So I don't think you should spend your money on them, if I'm being honest. The only thing from the Yard Charm kit I did go in and add was my favorite object, which was the wind chimes that you put on the wall. So that is the only thing I used, and honestly, that's about the only thing I foresee myself ever using from that kit. I think the trash can is the only other thing I could see myself using consistently, but I did not like that kit. Anyway, I'm gonna get off that, but I'm putting like these trellises, some plants around. I'm trying to make it feel more homey and putting the nice touches. This is where I'm going in and adding the actual outdoor tea room area. I went back and forth on like the style and the colors I wanted for this, and I decided ultimately to go with the white. I think the white with the pink accents was the vibe. I really liked the like floral pattern with the brown, but it just was not matching the rest of the house because we don't literally have brown anywhere else. So I went with this one, even though it's not my favorite swatch with the flowers. I really like the pink and the flowers from the brown swatch, but you win some, you lose some. I went back and forth a little bit on the like structure of the roof as well and which direction I wanted it to go in. So I had it like this at first, and then I actually go back and I rotate it to have it be the other way around. And what's funny is here when I was building it, I still didn't realize we had a roof pattern from Tea Time Solarium. I didn't realize that until like, I think days after I did my review on it and I was playing around with it. I was like, oh my goodness, we got a new roof pattern. So I do go back in and I change the roof that I have just to match the aesthetic of the Tea Time Solarium kit. And then I also realized that we got 13 terrain paints from Royalty and Legacy, and I had no idea that we got all of that. I swear, sometimes whenever I'm doing my review videos, things don't pop up. I swear they don't pop up because I do click on like literally everything, and I don't know how every time I do a review video, I miss something. Like I forgot to look at the windows from Royalty and Legacy when I did my review. That was my fault because whenever I was editing the footage, I was like, going down a rabbit hole about the doors, and then I got distracted and I never went back to look at the window. So that was on me. But I swear there's always something that I miss that's not my fault. So, anyways, I cluttered out the tea time room. I did use that like fun little chandelier object that we got as like one of the new DLC that was in the bundle for the Royalty Legacy and all of that. I don't think you need that. I think it's pretty, but I honestly don't see myself using that super often. And then I did use the new hydrangeas as well. Also, this came up on stream. How do you say hydrangeas? I say hydrangeas. I think some people say hydrangeas, but like, how do you say this plant? I love this plant. They're really pretty. I love seeing them in real life. How do you say it? Because I have always said hydrangeas, and I swear people were going crazy on stream, and I was just like, how do y'all say it? Like, what do you call these plants? Genuinely curious. Now, I did go back and forth on the stones here. Whenever I put like any type of stone tile down, not terrain paint, but tile as a pathway, I don't like the hard edges on the sides, and I usually like to cover it up with landscaping. But I was just like, I didn't want it to be overdone with all the flowers. I already have a ton of flowers in the front of the home, and I thought it would be too much to put more. So I was like, I want something that could easily be stepped over, like thinking in real life. And so I was like, let's put the stones, because we have stones in the pathway. So it kind of matches, but it doesn't. I wasn't still like, I still am not in love with the way that looks, but I just wanted something there to cover the hard edge. Do y'all get where I'm coming from with that? Does anyone else like feel that way whenever they're putting like these paths on the front? And it's just like, I don't like having any edge of it exposed. I always have to put like a fence that covers it up, or like one of the small fences to make it like a flower bed or something like that. There's just something about it that bothers me. And I kept the landscaping around the pond pretty minimal, which is unusual for me. Usually I like to put a ton of stones around the entire border or put plants all over around. And I don't know, there's something about chai that gives me like simplicity. Like chai likes simplicity. And I just wanted to stick with that a little bit. I did put these butterfly stickers. I have a couple of different types of butterflies around the lot. I use these effects whenever I remember to use them, and here I did. So you do have like some pretty butterflies that fly around in live mode and everything. Put a little bird bath with a birdhouse over in this corner by the tree. And then I ended up taking this space across from the tea room. I got a suggestion for a blanket, like one of the woohoo blankets, and it's just like a cute little date night area. Like chai can have some fun too, but just an area where you can relax and come out. So I put some like nice mood lighting with some candles right there. I put a little picnic basket thing too, and I put the tea set on the blanket as well. It's just like I'm putting tea everywhere that I can think of. So I clipped it into the ground because I didn't want the big trunk to show. I just wanted the little one. And then I put some bees over by the planter boxes, which I thought was a cute vibe. And then I put this divider, and I was like, maybe we need a privacy screen. Maybe we should have a privacy screen for if we want to have activities performed on this blanket. So I thought that was a cute little vibe. I've never really done that before with putting, a divider outside, some type of partition like that. But I think it fit into the space. And I put a bird feeder behind that in the little corner because we had the other bird stuff across from it. And I was like, what if we just have the feeder over here? I don't want like everything bird themed in one area. Let's spread it out a little. And then because we had butterflies on the lot, I did put this like terrarium, vivarium, whatever you want to call it, for the butterflies. And so I put the little basket where you can go out and actually do like the entomology stuff and put that on the back porch. So it kind of ties in that new hobby that we got from Adventure Awaits. And then I went through and put these cute little, I think this is like, is this toddler? I don't remember. Little campers. I think it's little campers that these lights are from. Just cute, whimsy, fun vibes, just like chai. So that's like the idea generally. And I put a spotlight on the like fountain as well as the statue outside by the pond. So I tried to like put some nice little features like that in. And then I used the fun swatch of the swing set with the cyan and pink purpley colors just because it made sense for this build and matched a lot of what I had going on everywhere else. And then these are the candles that I ended up putting on the lot here. So I'm like starting to wrap up some little things. So let's just go ahead, hop into the build, and I'll just show you what it looks like. So this is the build. I think it turned out really cute. I like the vibes of this. I really do. I like the simplicity of it. And like I was talking about at nighttime, you can see like I put the spotlight on that. I just think that's a nice little detail to keep that lit up. And then you can see the light shining up on the fountain as well. makes it look really pretty. So we have good lighting all around the lot, I would say. So as you come up here, we put the fun little mailbox, and then you can see what I was talking about with the different columns. So like if I move this column, this is the tea time one. See how skinny these are? And I just think this helps make the pink pop a pretty good bit more. Like when you put it and clip it in, it doesn't match the same shade of pink, but I think that's okay. It just makes it stand out a little bit more from the house. But as you come around here, this is our like fun little date night area, some cute clutter. And then our outdoor kitchen space on the back side, I think is really nice, fancy. And then this is the chess table I was talking about. It just matched the vibes too much. I couldn't not put it. I had to put it. I'm really sorry that I had to put it, but you don't need the kit. Don't worry about getting the kit. And then I did put a flower arranging table up at the top right here with the tea time stuff over here. And then I had this little meditation stool thing. So really quickly, I'll show y'all what it looks like on the inside of the tea room here outside. I think this is pretty with the trellises and the roses. So you have all your snacks and everything over here with the clutter. I love the way this chandelier looks in here. And then you have the fun little pink roof pattern. And then at nighttime, it's like such a vibe. I think it's really warm, even though you have a lot of like whites and cool tones around. So as you come in on the left, this is the little accent table I was talking about. So you have a vanity mirror here that I thought was cute. And then you have like the little kettle with the flowers. Again, just another tea nod. Our living space is over here on the right side. And I like how it turned out. I think it's cute. We have like the giraffes. I don't know. I just wanted something fun in here. I know we have like the elephant sculpture that's wooden, but I don't like the look of it. And then we have our kitchen over here on the left. Really, really nice. I love that the upper cabinets are yellow just to bring in a little more of the yellow tones. It makes it brighter. I didn't want the blue on top of the blue wallpaper. Like that would have been too much blue. So I wanted there to be a little bit of a bitonal cabinet situation. And then for the dining space, we have our fireplace, cute little nook over here. And then we have our tea area on this side. So I put the little treats in here as well. So we have all sorts of tea treats and tea kettles, tea sets everywhere. I put this from Snowy Escape as well. So there's so many kettles in this build. It's crazy for how small it is. And then off of that is the bathroom. So cute little bathroom space. I put the mug, picture of the mug. I think that's hot chocolate technically, but shh, it's okay. It's okay. Shower, squat toilet. Really simple, fun little display there. And then as we head upstairs, I did change the stairs as well. So this is from Royalty and Legacy, and I put the stairs with the blue rug runner on it. So I just think that's really cute. I like the way it looked. And I did do a vote in the chat, and that's what we opted to do instead of the pink stairs that we had there. And then upstairs, this is our little bedroom space, which I think it turned out really cute with all the clutter. We have books everywhere, candles, flowers. This is our get ready corner that I was talking about, our bedroom space. I was trying to like find a good balance with this off-white color, and that's why I did that with Cozy Kitsch as well. It goes with the flooring because I didn't want every single thing to be pink, blue, or yellow. We needed something to ground the space a little bit more. I have some fun clutter over here on the desk as well, and then some clutter over here on the bookcase. And then as you come out this beautiful yellow door, we have our little tea stand, a tree. I did put this vase too. I thought that was cute. And then our tea area on this balcony. And then you can come down into the flower arranging table that way. I uploaded this on the gallery as Chai Time Haven. You get it? High time tea, like Chai Time Haven. I don't know. But it's on the gallery. It's 104,000 simoleons, which I was a little surprised by, honestly, for how small the house is. But I'd love to know if you end up playing in it. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much. I have so much fun doing this. I really do think I'm going to try to start a series where we do builds that are after Animal Crossing villagers. So I'd love for you to comment down below which villager you'd like to see me do next. And lastly, I just want to give a shout out to my channel members. Thank you so much for your support. It means a lot to me. If you want to catch my last speed build video, I'll put that over here for you. And with that, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye. Maybe I should just go ahead and start the series doing all of the elephant villagers.